Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of I'll just make this Bitcoin prediction. And so if you haven't heard or already have heard, I'm sure you have, um, Bitmain has come out with a blog. Instead of doing a preemptive strike, they're going to do a postemptive strike. So looks like we're headed for a split, okay? And that's what I'm going to say is going to happen. We are going to split. So I don't think we have a choice. As a user, as someone who actually holds Bitcoin and uses Bitcoin, there's not going to be a choice in this matter. It is going to split. So we have the miners, and we have, I would say, developers slash node operators and slash users, and then the users themselves. So how is this three-way split, or this three-way this triangle of Bitcoin is arranged? So first of all, let me go over some of the things. I'm going to talk about Bitmain first, but I'm going to go over the treasure hunt. I do have a new treasure hunt, and I'll go over that. Then I'll get into Bitmain. Then I'll do a chart analysis, all right, at the end, and I'll talk about how the price reacted to this particular news. So let me go into the treasure hunt first. So if you have been watching, you notice that I'm doing a live stream called James Bond Bitcoin Live. This was a special episode. It was 007, so that's why I did the treasure hunt. If you watch the live stream 007, I had Brian McLaughlin, a longtime viewer, and he is an expert treasure hunter, and Luke from Yes for Motivation. And during the live stream, Brian gave out a piece of the passcode. Luke gave out a piece of the passcode. I gave out the piece of the passcode. So there's one piece of the passcode remaining, and that's for you to crack. And here's the address. Let me refresh it. It's gone down in price. I originally put in $70. Yeah, I put in $70. You know, it's episode 007, so I was thinking $70, something with a 7 in it. So, but unfortunately, the price of Bitcoin went down. But there you go. There you see it, and that's how much Bitcoins are there. And I'll leave it there until someone can crack the code. And let me see here. Hold on. Make sure the wallet's okay. So here is the wallet. Oh. Okay, so there's the QR code. So go ahead and scan it, and just to show you, that's the wallet, that's the address, so you can see that Bitcoins are there. I did put Bitcoins in there. And if you're having a hard time seeing this, let me get the I'll get this out here. Let's see, yep, that's the same address. So let me just do this. Maybe you can scan that a little bit better as well. So that's the treasure hunt there. If you haven't had a chance, I'd highly recommend you go to the this video on this live stream. So the password, or pieces of the password, is revealed in the live stream. All you have to do is watch it and get the passcode, and then just figure out the last passcode, plug it in, and all those Bitcoins are yours. We talked about some interesting stuff, and this many Bitcoins are available. Okay, so alright, so let's go to this now. So I have read the blog, and it is a postemptive strike. They didn't want to do a preemptive strike because that would put them in a corner. With this postemptive strike, what it's done is it's allowed them the option, right, of splitting, hard forking for the most part, or if they realize that, I would say there's three options for them. Really, there's three options. All right, they're going to allow the user-activated soft fork to happen. They want to see who's going to bail ship, go against Bitmain. I guess Bitmain, Jianwu, and Ampool, all the same entity for the most part. They're pretty confident they have all the hashing power from China. They're very confident about that. So that's why they're going this route. But it'll be interesting to see who does and doesn't. So this is the point we've all been waiting for. There's no more games to play. There's no more taunting or trolling to do. No astroturfing. This is the moment in time where, the rubber hits the pavement, and we're going to see who has what support for what side. Because there's been a lot of sock puppets, a lot of astroturfing, a lot of paid trolling. And at the end of the day, August 1st, we will see the silent majority come out and choose. All right, and there's been a lot of people who have been silent about this whole thing. So we're going to see who's really, where do people really stand? Are they going to stand behind Bitmain? Or are they going to stand behind the users, or what the users want? So we'll see who the economic majority really stands behind, because that's the really driving force of Bitcoin here. It's not mining. It's not necessarily the nodes. Ultimately, it's going to come down to users like you and me to decide where you're going to put your money. Are you going to put your money in China with a couple people controlling the network? Or are you going to put your money behind a decentralized network where, people can choose to run a software update or not? And I believe people do want segregated witness. I do believe that. We're going to get segregated witness on both of them. It's just going to be a different form. I believe Bitmain will hard fork to a SegWit that is compatible with ASIC Boost. So they're for sure going to hard fork if the user-activated soft fork does take hold. I think they're just trying to play their cards where they have options, and the option is basically let the BIP 148 to happen, see who jumps, see how many miners are going to support that, and if there's a significant amount of miners, they're going to hard fork. Bitmain will hard fork. All right, they're willing to spend the money to keep their dominance. All right, so, and this is a lesson that we're all going to learn. This is, no one, Bitcoiners kill their leaders, and if you start leading too much, or you start becoming too dominant, you will get killed. You will get killed. So Bitmain will hard fork and try to maintain its dominance. And when they hard fork, and they will hard fork, there's no doubt about it, they will hard fork. The hard fork, what's going to happen is they will secretly mine, and to some degree even pre-mine, blocks on their network, their new China coin, your Bitmain coin, and so they'll have an advantage right away. They'll just have an advantage right away because they want everyone else to be behind, right, in mining blocks. So I don't know if there's an economic advantage or any advantage for any miners to join them in doing this, because they're always going to be behind. They're going to run out. The miners are going to go out of business. The only people who are going to join are probably Chinese miners who may feel threatened under Bitmain's rule to comply. So we can all assume the Chinese miners are probably going to already go ahead and point their miners to this new block. I think there is enough hashing power for the rest of the world, if they disabled their amp lead, to point to the SegWit block, or the user-activated network, user-activated blockchain. So I do believe there will be a 70-30 split. So Bitmain will hard fork. Okay, so we've basically forced Bitmain to spin off. So they're being spun off to do their own thing. So this ultimately leaves the users to decide. I think this is where it's been going. It's been stalled for the longest time by Bitmain, because I do believe there's enough users out there, people who actually have Bitcoin, who hold on to their Bitcoin, plus all the businesses, the wallets, the wallet service providers who support BIP 148, the exchanges that support BIP 148. The exchanges might be a little tricky. I think they'll support both. And so they'll be on the fence because they'll make money. All right, all the exchanges will probably be able to support both, and you'll have two coins. And then the businesses, there is a lot of businesses that have supported BIP 148. So there is some economic majority, some business majority. The nodes, I think there's enough nodes to support 148. Question is, is there enough hashing power? I do believe there is going to be enough hashing power, because if Bitmain does fork away or go fork off, they will have a major advantage. And anybody who joins that mining, anybody who mines to join Bitmain blockchain, you're going to be at a disadvantage. You will be whittled down to nothing, or you will be subjugated to Bitmain and their mining rigs. Literally, you'll be a slave to a network. So I think people who aren't already a slave to Bitmain will not join Bitmain. They will join the user-activated soft fork. So that's my scenario of what I think is going to happen come August 1st. And it is a postemptive strike. So I believe those people who don't want to be slaves to Bitmain will support a user-activated soft fork. Those who are already a slave to Bitmain will have no choice. Okay, and most of those miners are in China anyway. So that's what's going to happen. And then I think eventually you will become subjugated to Bitmain. And anyone who joins later, you're just going to go out of business unless you have an Antminer, unless you buy from Bitmain so you can activate your ASIC boost. So the network is going to split. Now here's the most deciding factor. All right, the network will split, but now the users like me and you who actually have coins will decide which network has more value. The network that is basically ruled by very few people and that subjugates anybody under them, the miners, the users, the developers, or the network that is an open source, okay, free to use of your own free will. All right, you can leave it, you can join it. All right, there's no one forcing you. That's what you got to decide. Which network are you going to support? So let me take a quick look at the. Let me go ahead and refresh this. Let's take a look at Bitfinex because there is some indication of some futures markets here, and we'll see what happened. Let it refresh here a little bit. All right, so here you go. All right, there we go. Let's take a look. Wow, everything's red today. There's the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Zcoin, Monero, Litecoin, Ripple, Dash, IOTA. That's a ICO coin. And there you go, Bitcoin Classic, or not Bitcoin Classic, Bitcoin Core, and Bitcoin Unlimited. So this is going to be the China coin price, and this is going to be the regular Bitcoin price. Even then, it's still very different. I mean, there's really not a lot of economic support for the Jihan Wu coin, the Bitmain coin here. So you got to ask yourself, as an investor, as a user, this is where your vote comes in. Finally, the users, the real users, the economic users, will finally have a vote and say where they're going to put their support. And according to this, the support is behind the SegWit activated blockchain. So, you know, it's amazing. Jihan Wu will do anything to maintain its power. Does that sound familiar? I mean, that sounds just like, you know, the the Federal Reserve, right? This sounds like the people who, the elite people in Wall Street, bankers who are trying to hold on to the power. You know, I wonder if all of this has been a failed experiment sometimes. Anyways, whether this is a failed experiment or not, I mean, ultimately, you know, if something's worth having, it's worth fighting for. And so, the war is now gone. I would say hot. No one's no one's shooting at each other. But now we're voting economically now. Before it was just trolling, memeing, miming, whatever you want, astroturfing, trying to rumble up support through social media. Now we're going to actually vote with your bitcoins, with your money. And we'll see how that turns out. Could it turn into something hot? You know, this is not a war of states, so I don't think it'll ever get to that point. But you never know. You never know. So we are headed to an economic war now. We're going to see who is going to fight economically. Who's willing to do that? And this is what we're at now. We've come to a war of words to a war of money. So we'll see what happens. And my support is behind Bit 148, and I look forward to the Lightning Network. And I will not transact with China Coin. My node, if I ever do get a node, will be on the Bit 148 nodes. When the Lightning Network is activated, I look forward to running a Lightning node with Litecoin and Bitcoin. Between those two blockchains, the real Bitcoin, the one that is segregated witness, Bit 148 activated. So that's my prediction. So let me go into a chart analysis here. And speaking of Litecoin, I do see Litecoin going up in value. It's almost coming up on its 5th year. And maybe another coin that I'll get into after Bit 148, after the SegWit is implemented on the Bitcoin blockchain. So, all right, so let's take a look at the chart. I am on the I'm on the 1 hour on Bitstamp, and I simply did is I knew this wasn't gonna just bounce back and up like this. I'm still looking for a third wave, so 1, 2, and this is the third wave. Yeah, I have 2 points to make a line. I'm waiting for a bounce back up to around this point area. Let's see, around 2500, 2510, or let me see, what is that? No, I'm sorry, that's 2600. Anyway, that's 2600. So I'm looking for a bounce back up to 2600 area. That is the current price, and that is the current date and time. I'm on New York time, just to let you know, even though I'm not in New York. But there you go. So there's the wave. So you got 1, 2, 3. So this is the third wave. I'm assuming there's going to be a fourth wave going up, and then we'll see if there's a fifth wave going lower. And if it does go lower, it will go below, obviously, the 2100. So it may bounce back to 22,000, maybe even 1900. But let's pull back in time. Let's see what's happening. And let me get rid of this line, because this line's not going to make a difference as we pull back. So let's look at the 12 hour. And you can see it has breached this, and it looks like it's going downward sharply. And here's the thing, if you look at all this time, it seemed like SegWit was going to be activated. The Chinese miners, Jianwu, the New York agreement was talked about. They're open to SegWit. BIP 148 comes out, SegWit being activated. All this time, the price is going up, right? And then as soon as Jianwu talks about hard forking and splitting the blockchain, look at this, crash. So that tells me that this China coin stuff, it's a horrible idea, really bad idea. Okay, do you really want to put your wealth into the hands of Jianwu? I mean, do you really want to put your wealth in the hands of a few people that's going to dictate how your money's going to be growing? I don't think so. Not me. I mean, this is an indication that this is bad. Okay, people were talking about SegWit, and then here's Jianwu talking about hard forking. You know what I'm saying? Bad. Anyways, so that's on the 12 hour. And then you see a little bit more on the 1 day. It seems to have pierced through the longer term average, and you'll see the RSI kind of do the same. But I think it's natural. You're seeing the price going up, the RSI going down. I think it seems to be winding up for another push, a pullback, and then a push, a longer term. So let me just, so this is the 1 day, and let's go to the 3 day. So 3 day, you're not seeing too much. You'll see the first candlestick bounce off the shorter term average, and then the second push through it, and this is where I say it could go around 2000 or 1900. So you see that right there. Matter of fact, let's see what the price comes out to be. 1871. You know, maybe, but let's just keep going back further. And this is the last one here on the weekly. Now, if you see the weekly, you'll see that there was a huge gap. The price got really ahead of itself. You see that huge gap right here. So for this to come down, it looks natural on the long-term chart. It just looks natural. If you pull back, because remember, we're moving $400 or $500 a day. maybe even $800 a day now. As the price goes up higher, it's not uncommon to see $1,000 moves. So we hit this shorter term average. Let's see what happens. I think this is going to be very natural. So the price dropping down this far, not too bad. Not too bad. I still haven't seen a downturn yet. I see a correction in line with the moving averages. Now, I would be worried when it hits down to this point right here, which would be what, 1500? $1,500. That's kind of worrisome, but I don't think it's going to do that. Still think it's still going to go up higher. All right, I think this is just a correction because it's been massively going up fast. Bounce back, and we'll see if it pushes up. It may be just in consolidating mode, and then we'll see if it breaks up or down. Depending on what happens August 1st. I think there is something to this, so we'll see what happens. And then also, I also want to do an overview of the overall market. And let me just refresh this, and we'll see what's happening. So as you can see, just about every market, I mean even Ethereum is down, and look at that. Ethereum never overtook Bitcoin. I was hoping it would, because then everyone can shut up about, all those Ethereum people can shut up about, the flippening. But I guess they're still going to rant about the flippening. So if you look at all this, even Ripple's down. Ripple's down today. So everything's down because nobody wants a minor hard fork, a minor activated hard fork. Nobody wants that. Everybody hates that idea. Everybody hate that idea. Jihan Wu is utterly destroying this ecosystem. He is toxic. Him and Roger Ver and Peter Ruins Bitcoin. They're toxic to this community. We should all get rid of these people. And if they do hard fork, please do not support them in any way. Look at this. Is it coincidence? Jihan Wu puts out this blog, right? Right? And then all this happens. I'm just literally just going down to the 100th coin. Look at that. Do you really want to put do you really want to put your future in the hands of Jihan Wu and Roger Ver and Peter Ruins Bitcoin? Do you really want to do that? Think about it, people. Okay. So anyways, let me go back to this real quick. This is going to conclude this episode. So please watch James Bond if you want to go on to the treasure hunt. That's my live stream, which I had my guest give out the passcode right there on the spot. Here is the QR code for the passcode. And there's one passcode remaining that is not disclosed. It is for you to crack that code. And if you can crack that code, unfortunately the price went down, but all these Bitcoins are yours. Or this much dollars worth, I should say. So anyways, let me end it right here. So this concludes this episode. So feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, or even video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.